Hello, my name is Lu Kuan Yi, and this is my leadership presentation for TLI112. Brief introduction of Jason, who is the leader I interviewed and made this presentation on. Jason was my high school classmate for 3 years, and he was often the leader role of school activities, events, and also have been the class leader for a year. So he's basically the obvious choice for me to do this presentation on. And this is the picture of me interviewing him. What project did he lead? This is a science presentation that we have been prepared for a year or 2 years for the content and 1 year for the event. So basically it's the biggest event throughout our high school years. And you can tell by the photo that we are all in suit and ties. So, and it's in an auditorium, so it's a really formal presentation. Jason's leading skill. First of all, he's really well organized. Basically, when he first got the leadership role, he listed every thing we need to do and put it on the list and put it on Google Drive, so everyone have access to it and can keep up with it whenever we want. And a really important thing about the schedule he put up is it's flexible with backup plans. He told us the due dates and he have a 2-day margin and that he expect us to be late because like for most of the time things don't go as we planned, and it's realistic to put a 2-day margin there. And also this worked really well for us because COVID policy is keep changing, and he had already put like backup plans of assigning people to do the live streams and the seat arrangements for us. Next tip, he have high EQ and he is really emotional savvy at dealing with people. Since this is a really important project and everyone care about it a lot, so people have different opinion and it leads to conflicts. And he is really good at dealing with conflicts. That there's one time there's two people shouting at each other, and he just come into the middle, tell everyone to calm down, and listen to both of their opinions separately, and end up deciding that what he should make a decision himself, and what should our class vote and make the decision together. And nextly is his distributed approach to leadership. At first, he divided the class into smaller groups like lighting, food, booklet making, video making, and also assigned the leaders for every smaller groups. So the smaller group leaders are in charge of the smaller groups and will keep up with the progress and communicate with Jason about it. So Jason don't have to do one-on-one interviews, one-on-one meetings with every of us, and it definitely is more efficient. In the interview, I asked him about how do you deal with the people who dislike you or your leading strategy. This is especially important because in this project, he's dealing with 25 high school kids. It's not no professional, and we aren't really mature enough to deal with the problems. Yeah, then he answered, since I'm the leader, I can still tell one what his job is. I'll definitely communicate with him if he has a disagreement. After we successfully reach the agreement, I'll keep it professional and try to avoid conflict. Also, I can have other people to do the communicate with him or her so that it might be easier to reach the agreement. And from his answer, we can tell that he's really mature, first of all, and also he know that he don't need to do everything himself, and like handing the power into like smaller group leaders will lead to a much more efficient and make the job easier. My personal experience with Jason. Personally, I'll say I wasn't the in-group for this project. However, Jason still asks me about my progress every here and there. And surprisingly, he actually know what I'm doing and even the details of it. He not only know that I'm in charge of the snacks, he also knew that what problem I'm currently facing and tell me to pay attention to some of the details to prevent potential problems. Like he tell me to like pay attention to the location we place the snacks, so like people don't get too crowded and don't run into each other like frequently. His impact to our class. The success of the presentation is definitely an unforgettable experience for everyone, and also let everyone have a picture of how a good leader should be. Later on, And when we got like leadership role, we often ask him for advice. Benefit to the outcome. The whole event leading by him is really well planned, scheduled nice, and everything went smooth. The audience felt to care about, like we have a website for them to ask questions for the presentation, and also have water, drink, and food whenever they need it. I also asked some of my classmates, Gary, Sam, Eric, and Kyle, to have their opinion on Jason. Gary referred to the point that he's a really great person and have a good communication skill that get along with everyone and communicate effectively with the smaller group leaders. And Sam, Eric, and Kyle are all referring to his time management skill and scheduling skill. And so that they put up the point that he made the schedule so early, like right when he got a role, and he can still keep up with it really, really nice. And lastly, I asked him to give some advice to other leaders. It's like some of the things he does the best. It's like first, the importance of scheduling and job distribution, and make sure to like make the due dates more flexible so everything won't, so like messing up one time won't mess up the whole plan. Also communicate effectively. He told me that sometimes in informal occasions, we provide more honest answers for our communication, so he can know our progress more honestly. And lastly, don't try to use coerciveness as power. And this is especially important since for us because we cannot like reward anyone or punish anyone. So coerciveness isn't for us, and we should like have the leadership. We should like try to develop the leadership charisma and know how to deal with people and let us be respected to be a good leader. And that's it. Thank you for listening.